Alright, man, listen up. Today we're going to be talking about the real reason why the majority of men cannot handle the power that comes with the practice of semen retention. Let me say that again. Today we're going to be talking about the real reason why the majority of men, the main population of men who are trying to succeed on this path of semen retention, cannot handle the power that comes along with it. So let's break this bitch down real quick like a brick for y'all. Now, again, I'm talking about the guys out there that are actually trying to put the next steps forward into their life by transmuting their sexual energy towards higher purposes. I'm not talking to the guys out there who just watch videos about nofap, semen retention, and think it's all bullshit. I ain't talking to you motherfuckers, all right? So click the fuck off. I'm talking about the guys out there right now, one-on-one, we out here in the field, in the flesh, speaking why you can't handle the energy, the vril, the vitality that comes with retaining your life force. And that's due to the fact that you are not changing your overall lifestyle when it comes to this path. Just trying to do semen retention itself, like I've said so many times, is not the end goal. It is not the pinnacle of this practice. Just simply retaining your life force, retaining your seed, not busting a nut. That's not the damn goal, bro. We don't care about that. That's part of the system to get to the actual mountaintop that we're climbing towards. It's part of the path. Yes, semen retention, retaining your seed is part of the path. My bad. But just doing that will not give you the benefits of this practice, will not give you a glimpse to how truly powerful this practice is. Just doing that, just sitting at home and retaining your seed and just thinking that, oh man, just because Fulati Fitness said if I just retain my seed for X amount of days, I'm gonna get this, I'm gonna get that, I'm gonna get this. Well, if you paid attention, if you've been tapped into my channel, if you've been tapped into the content, you already know about the full guide I dropped, how to succeed on semen retention. If you haven't already, make sure you go run it up after this, which comes with the Art of Retention ebook, dialing in on every single detail you need to actually proficiently use this practice to its peak potential, to its actual powers. You need to instill certain practices into your daily life to help you cultivate this life force energy and redirect it and transmute it towards higher purposes, to higher goals, to your higher faculties when it comes to your biological system. If you don't do these things, you are gonna fucking crash out. This is why a lot of guys out there ask, hey bro, how do you deal with all these urges? How do you deal with all these temptations? I feel like I'm going fucking crazy. I feel like I'm going insane. I'm having manic episodes. When I relapse, I'm binge relapsing. I'm just going back to back to back to back to back. Like I'm spinning on a fucking track. Shout out to Drake, back to back. Fuck Drake anyways, but they ask all these types of questions and they're wondering, bro, like, what am I doing? Well, I already explained it in that full guide and in the ebook and on my coaching programs and on one-on-one consultations. If you want to book some, make sure you go check out the pinned comment of this video. You can get up on all that sauce. We'll directly work one-on-one. But they ask all these things. Well, I told you, it's all right there in the books, it's all right there in the guide, yet they still don't understand that when you're on this path, your whole life needs to take a 180. Your whole priorities need to take a 180. Everything that you've thought about life takes a 180. Semen retention is not just a physical practice, it's not just a mental practice, it's a spiritual practice, and it takes a whole paradigm shift to actually realize that. It took me a while to actually realize that, probably about a year into semen retention, but I'm giving you the sauce right now, so it doesn't matter where you're 1 week in, 1 month in, 1 day in, 1 hour in. Hey, pause. I don't want you to pull up on this video if it's been an hour, man. Let it sit, like go to sleep, bro. Like chill out. You don't have to just jump straight into this, but you dig what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't matter where you're on the path. Understanding these concepts right now will allow you to build on a foundation that is actually solid enough to keep working, keep building upon. You got the framework, you got the blueprint to keep building. but that solid foundation is there, and that is those daily habits, those daily practices, and most importantly, the purpose you are putting it towards. The number one thing I talked about, whether it's in the guide, whether it's in the ebook, whether it's through one-on-one consultations, whether that's through coaching packages, is what is the main reason you're doing this? What is the purpose you're doing this? If you're just doing it for lower level things, guess what? You're not going to get to the higher level streaks. Let me say that again. If you're doing for lower level things, lower level benefits, lower level desires, you're not going to actually understand and actually tap into the higher levels of this practice. It doesn't work. If you're down here, your level of consciousness, and you're trying to tap into the benefits and rewards you get on the higher levels of consciousness, you got to match it. You got to match the energy, frequency, and vibration of where you're trying to attain of your quote-unquote desires. Helicopter's fucking about to pull up on me right now. I guess someone called the AC-130s on me, but let's get back to what I was saying. You gotta match those levels of frequency, vibration, and all that stuff, and that comes with having higher pursuits, higher goals when it comes to this practice, and practices that complement it, that will raise your vibration, raise your frequency, and raise your overall levels of consciousness. And that is things like breath work, pranayama. I talked about the purpose of pranayama more in depth on the private Patreon community. If you want to join up, become a member, get access to exclusive videos, full guides, occult lectures, monthly masterminds, and much more. Go check out the link posted in the pinned comment of this video. But you got to do your pranayama. You got to tap in and really dial in on your diet. You got to really dial in on your exercise. You got to really dial in on your creative pursuits. You got to really dial in on your spiritual practices or spiritual sadhanas, and overall elevate every aspect of your life. Semen retention will not do it for you. It'll give you the energy. It's the catalyst. It's the nitric pack that will actually allow you to elevate all the aspects of your life. It's not going to do it for you. Let me say that again. It'll give you the energy to actually elevate every aspect of your life. No matter what, it's going to help you elevate it, but it's not going to do it for you. It's going to give you the mental clarity. It's going to give you the energy. It's going to give you the focus. It's going to give you the drive. It's going to give you the masculine will to get things done like you've never experienced before, but you got to still do it. So when you're actually doing the practices and you're combining semen retention on top of that, you're tapping into double XP. You're doing things quicker. You're doing things with more force. You're doing things with more intensity, and the rewards and the results will happen quicker. You'll cut the time in half. And if you're actually putting those things into play, you're not going to deal with my energy so much. I can't function in my day-to-day life. I gotta go jack off. I gotta go on Tinder. I gotta go just release my seed because I can't contain this energy. It's burning me up. So I talked about there's a difference between sexual transmutation and sexual repression. A lot of people think if you just abstain from this type of stuff, from releasing your seed, you're good to go. You're transmuting your sexual energy. You're not, motherfucker. You are not. That's why you feel like shit while you're still on this path, and you're just kind of hoping for things to just spring back into life once again. Oh man, maybe I'm in a flatline from day 2. That's not how this shit works. I'm telling you from experience. The flatlines later on, that's when your body's really kind of getting back into this state, being its homeostasis. This is its natural default state of being. It goes through a whole kind of like withdrawal symptoms and essentially a way where it's letting its old self die, and you're kind of like, oh man, like I don't know what's going on. It's in a state of limbo almost. I'll be talking about more about different signs and symptoms of flatlines later on this channel, but that is later on down the line. If you're feeling like that shit like early, you're not doing the practices I'm telling you to do. You're not tapping into the full guide. You are not tapping into the Art of Retention ebook. And guess what? Now you're in the cycle of relapse, and you get to 20 days, relapse, come back 20 days, relapse, come back 20 days, relapse, back to back. Spinning on that track like a DJ, bro. You're spinning tracks like a DJ. You're going nowhere with it. So what's the point? You're gonna be like, oh man, semen retention is placebo. This guy's sucking bullshit and he's just scamming at people out there. No, you are just too stupid to realize that just retaining your seed is not enough, man. Not enough. A lot of YouTubers out there, a lot of content creators out there, when it comes to this topic, don't get in depth with it because first of all, they don't really practice it. Second of all, they haven't achieved higher streaks to where the real power of this practice comes into play. The spiritual side of this practice comes into play. The mystical side of this practice comes into play. The real vigor, vitality, and masculine stoic qualities that you want in your life come into play. All that stuff in the beginning, it's all hype, it's good, it's whatever. It ain't the real deal stuff that you're really trying to tap into. You who have been watching this channel, who have been watching this far into the video, you want to tap into the higher level benefits and the higher level experiences you actually attain on this practice. And you have to do those practices to help cultivate everything that comes with semen retention. You cannot just skip certain things. You cannot just try to think like, oh man, I can just out willpower all this stuff. You can't. You only have a finite amount of willpower in your day-to-day life. Let me say that again. You have only a finite amount of willpower in your day-to-day life. And if you're always wasting that on trying to fight lust, trying to battle lust, trying to battle your urges, you're not battling no urges, bro. That's the whole thing. Y'all get fucked up. Don't get it twisted. You're not battling nobody. You're transcending it. Like they say in the Hermetic principles, everything is on the same plane, but just different degrees. Lust is the same as love, but on a different degree, different level of consciousness. All is God. All is consciousness on different levels, on different planes, on different degrees. Lust can be translated into love, can be translated into willpower, can be translated into energy, can be translated to whatever it is that you desire when you understand how to do it, when you understand how to actually activate and transmute it to those higher levels. You're the one controlling your temperature. You're the one controlling the degrees on the scale of your sexual energy. When you start doing these practices, pranayama, the most ultimate elite way to do that, in my opinion. That's what I talk about on the Patreon, why you should do it, how it correlates to semen retention, and how we're going to be getting into it when it comes to the guided meditation tutorials I'm going to be posting on there if I haven't already. So you got to be able to use these practices to shift your levels of degrees. You're not trying to just kill and eliminate all your urges. You're trying to transcend them. You're trying to use them to your advantage. It's just energy at the end of the day. You're the one labeling it, and the way you're labeling it is due to your level of consciousness, where it's stuck at. When an urge comes up to me, I'm not like, oh man, I gotta do push-ups, I gotta do that, I gotta do that. I understand what it is. I'm detached from it. I'm not like identifying myself with that urge. I'm saying, oh, that's just energy building up in my lower centers. What can I do with that? I can raise it up to my higher centers. Is it that easy to understand? Do you pick up what I'm putting down? I told you it's easy, but it's simple, but it's not easy. It's just energy at the end of the day, bro. Everything is just energy at the end of the day, just on different degrees. So we're not trying to kill no urges. We're not trying to battle no urges. Get this concept out of your mind, bro. You're just making it harder on yourself, to acting like you're going to fucking war. Oh man, I'm on semen retention. I gotta fucking fight all these urges, bro. Like, no, bro, relax. When you start doing those practices, not only do you lessen the urges, it's the same energy you're gonna be building up, but it's gonna be building up in higher centers. Willpower, you're gonna feel the urge of willpower from your solar plexus, or you're gonna feel love from your heart, or you're gonna feel the will to express through your throat chakra, or you're gonna feel intuition from the divine source from your third eye, or crown chakra, full bliss in a non-dual state. It's the same energy, just you're operating at different levels. You're sending it to higher levels of consciousness, your higher chakras, your higher planes of existence. So if you're putting two and two together, you're understanding that, oh man, like what Full Body Fitness is really trying to say, or what the Full Body is trying to say, is that the reason why I'm saying this from your lens, if you're struggling with this, the reason why I'm not able to actually handle the power of semen retention is that I'm stuck on my lower levels of consciousness, and I need those practices to set my baseline higher. If you're doing meditation, your diet is dialed in, you have a real purpose for doing this practice and all that good stuff, your baseline is higher. So when your levels of consciousness do lower, it bounces back up, it rebounds, has a rebound effect. Has a rebound effect to go back to its baseline. If your baseline is always low, it's gonna stay low, and it's gonna take more energy to raise it up. If you do all these practices, you're at neutral basically. You can raise it up to your higher levels, or it's gonna be pulled down to your lower levels. But at the end of the day, your baseline is neutral, heart chakra. You're feeling love, you're feeling good on this practice. It's not a struggle. If you're struggling in the beginning, yes, that makes sense. You're still trying to detach from your old self, and that's part of the whole thing. I say maybe until 6 months to a year, you're gonna feel like you're like morphing into somebody and something else, because you're detaching from your old degenerate ways. And as you go throughout this practice, that new self, that higher self, becomes your default state. Like I said before, becomes the norm. So it doesn't feel like you're really struggling or battling anything. There's no dead weight trying to pull you down. So the longer you go on this streak, the more you'll understand that, bro, this isn't a struggle. Life is beautiful. Life is great. When you retain your seed, life is great. Life is more bright. Life is more life. Life is more living. It's just, you ingrain this as a state of your being. And it's not like, oh man, you don't ever get horny or you don't get urges and stuff like that, but you understand it's just energy at the end of the day. You're identifying urge bad, urge evil, urge lust. That's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to transcend lust. It's all energy at the end of the day. Don't demonize lust. Don't demonize sex. Don't demonize women. Don't demonize physical attraction. Like, those things are all part of human nature. Just because I'm 3.5 years on semen retention doesn't mean if I look at a woman, I'm like, oh man, she's disgusting. She's ugly. She's gonna drain me of my seed. No, man. I just have higher pursuits. I understand that at this point in my life, and this arc, if you want to call it that, get into anime stuff, in this arc of my life, I want to use this energy, cultivate this energy, and transmute it towards building not only my mind, body, and soul, but also to build the type of life that I want to live. I'm using this as a tool. I'm not making it a part of my identity. I'm not saying I am semen retention. Semen retention is me. It is a part of what I eat, breathe, and sleep. It's just a tool. It's a tool to help elevate your life. If you think that you're gonna become the best person in the world, the best version of yourself just by retaining your seed, you got it all fucked up. You got it twisted, bro. It ain't gonna fix all your problems. It ain't gonna make you the best person. But like I said, it's gonna give you the double XP boost mentally, physically, and spiritually to get that real purpose done. Don't make this the goal. Don't make this the end all be all. Use this as a practice and use other practices around it to actually pursue something higher, something greater. Whether that's your career, whether that's your business, whether that's just becoming the best husband you can be, the best father you could be, the best neighbor you could be, the best person you could be, doesn't matter. Use it for that. Don't make everything centered around semen retention. That is the reason why you can't handle it, the power that comes with it, because you've centered all your attention around that. When you center all your attention around that, guess what? You get in that state and mind state of, oh, I'm like out here in war, World War III, me versus lust, me versus urges, me versus temptations. Don't think of them as oppositions. Think of them as obstacles. They're just obstacles on the obstacle course. You're not fighting obstacles on an obstacle course. You're just trying to Get back on the path and go back to the direction that you're trying to go towards. Maybe you gotta hop over them, maybe you gotta dodge them, stuff like that. That's the whole equivalent of transcending. You're dodging, you're going over it, you're going under it. You're not attaching yourself to them. When an obstacle hits you, that means you're attaching yourself to it. Oh man, I am lustful right now. I'm feeling so many urges. No, you're not feeling them. Your level of consciousness is low, so this energy is building up in your lower centers and you don't know how to express it. And you got to do those practices I laid out for you in the full guide and in the ebook that will help you express it in a more productive way. Because that's all you're doing when you release your seed. You're expressing that energy in the lowest form possible. Because if you're not creating a child with your seed, you're just doing it for pleasure, for a couple seconds of pleasure, for relaxation, all this. When in reality, you could express it in higher areas, higher ways, and get even more relaxed, and get even more fulfillment, and get even more pleasure. When you really tap into pranayama and stuff like that, breath work, meditation, you can have full body orgasms. You can have full body states of euphoria, and you're not releasing your seed, but you're using that sexual energy to raise up to the higher centers. Shit hits different. Shit hits different when you're actually doing the practices to help you on this path. And this is why you got to really understand why you're doing this practice of semen retention. Because again, you can have all the practices laid out, but if you don't have a real purpose in place for why you're doing it, again, then you identify with all the practices of the things that are going to help you sexually transmute, mutate your energy, and then that in turn attaches you back to semen retention. The purpose is the pinnacle. If you don't have that, don't try forcing this practice, because you're going to be in that cycle of relapsing over and over and over again. And I'm not saying if you don't have a purpose, just whack off, beat off. Use that energy for the time being to find your purpose. That is your purpose. Your purpose right now, if you don't have a purpose, is to find your purpose. Let me say that again. If you don't have a purpose right now, that purpose should be to find that purpose. And as you go throughout life, this is just a little side tangent. I'm going to be talking about more about this on the Patreon, about purpose, passions, and all that stuff, making a full guide to that. Purpose changes as you evolve. It just changes. It evolves with you. It's not linear. It's not stagnant. It changes. As you evolve, your purposes evolve. Your priorities evolve. All that stuff, man. So don't think that I gotta decide what's my main purpose, my main goal in life right now, then I have to give up everything and just follow that. No, dude, you got one step of your purpose here. When you unlock that purpose, guess what? You unlock the abilities, you unlock all the characteristics and the experiences to unlock purpose 2, purpose 3, purpose 4, purpose 5. That's just how life is. But if you just try to jump from 0 to 100, you're not gonna get to that understanding of what to do next in your life. So if you don't have a purpose right now, 0 to 1 for you would be finding that purpose. When you find that initial purpose, guess what? You pursue that, and once you quote unquote fulfill it, you're not gonna really ever fulfill it, but as you go on the path and you keep progressing towards it, guess what? Purpose 2 will open, and then purpose 3, purpose 4, like I said before. Dig what I'm saying, man? You understand all these concepts that come along with semen retention, with this practice, with this overall path to self-mastery. That's the pinnacle of all purposes, just self-mastery, self-realization, but it's just different paths to get there. It's different roads, different detours for each and every one of us, and semen retention is just a tool to help us on that journey. Don't make this the ultimate journey. 1,000 days semen retention. Once I hit it, man, that's life. I'm good with life. Like, I might as well just self-delete myself because I've reached the pinnacle of human evolution. Like, that shit don't make sense. And that's the type of mindset most people are going with semen retention. That's why they can't handle the power of it. They don't have those practices in place. They don't have a higher purpose in place. And they don't have the mind state and the overall conceptualization of what this is really about. This is about elevating your mind, body, and soul. And when you elevate your mind, body, and soul, you can give yourself more to the world, and you can become what I've described on this channel as well as a Patreon as a divine vessel for God. When you become a divine vessel for God, you are flowing with the universe and you're flowing to those purposes, and you are just essentially doing all the things that you were dharmically ordained to do. It is your purpose and what you were brought here to do. This vessel is just a vehicle to experience it as well as accomplish it. So semen retention, what that does with this vessel is just, like I said, adds the nitric oxide, adds the nitric pack, adds the diesel fuel. It just adds more oomph to your life, mentally, physically, and spiritually. It gives you that extra gear that you never knew that exists when it comes to whatever it is that you're trying to pursue. It isn't the car itself, it isn't the destination itself, it's just modifying your car and making it bulletproof, and it's making it supercharged, and it's making it just overall a super car. There's a lot of people out here driving in fucking trash ass minivans, Honda Odysseys, just thinking that this is life, that this is the normal state, when in the reality your normal state is a supercar, is that ultimate version of yourself. That's your natural state that you are meant to be. And when you actually understand that, you understand that when you're depleting yourself, you're just in negative categories. The more you raise yourself up out of that, you get back to your natural state, and then you start supercharging yourself. That's what semen retention does, man. That's what semen retention does to your mind, your body, and your soul. So take all this into account, man. This is the real reason why most people can't handle this practice, because they don't really understand why they're doing it. They don't understand the how of approaching it, which comes with the full guide on my main channel, as well as the ebook. You can go check that out. It's all free. But they don't understand all these things, and they just try to force it. And guess what? They crash out. Crash out, they burn out, they think it's placebo, and they think I'm just talking bullshit up out here in the field, in the flesh. You don't think that, oh man, if I actually do this practice, maybe I'll tap into higher levels of consciousness, higher levels of physical abilities, higher levels of my mental capabilities, and actually unlock new doors and new experiences of life. They think that, oh man, if I just retain my seed, I'm gonna get all the benefits. I'm gonna get all these girls. I'm gonna get all this money. I'm gonna manifest. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. That's what they think. But right now, hopefully I shifted your mind state, shifted your paradigm on how you can actually succeed on this practice. Because I want people to understand how powerful this really is. Not only does it help my channel, help my brand, help my business, help all that stuff, but it helps the world. Imagine a world where more guys were on this practice and doing it properly, not the dipshits that talk about, oh, female attraction, this and that. Like, who gives a fuck about that, man? I'm gonna be talking about that later on, but who gives a fuck about that, man? You're really doing this stuff to get women? That's the most female thing you can do. This is a masculine energy producing practice. You think a true masculine man, a stoic man, a badass man gives a fuck about female attraction? No, he just gets it because he's that guy. He's on this path. God is walking with him. He's yoked to God. He's yoked to the universe. And all those benefits come along this type of man. Imagine we had more men on this and actually understanding how to do this practice properly and understanding the true power behind it and not crashing out, not burning out, not typing on forums, Reddits, and stuff like that. Semen retention is bullshit. I don't know how to go about this. Like, dude, I'm giving y'all the sauce. All you gotta do is apply it. All you gotta do is trust the process and enjoy the progress. Trust the process and enjoy the progress, man. Put all these things into your life. That's in the guide. That's in these videos. That's in these overall pieces of information. Apply it into your life, piece by piece, step by step. Don't just go jump into the deep end, and you'll see what I'm talking about. I'm talking from experience. I'm not out here trying to just sell a dream. I'm trying to tell you guys the real deal sauce, because I already know that this type of practice is not for everybody. It's not for all the people out there. It's not for the general population. It's for the guys out there that are truly on this path of self-mastery. And I don't know how each and every one of us have gotten to this point, or how we're built and wired to actually want to pursue this, but maybe that's through past lives, karmic debts, your overall level of consciousness as you incarnate on this plane. I don't know, but all I know is that there's a select few people. I don't want to say the chosen one, bullshit, stuff like that. I think we all have the capacity to want to pursue self-realization, but there's only a select few that actually put in the time, effort, energy to seek the information and then apply the information. That's one thing. It's one thing for you guys to watch this video, watch my guide, watch the Patreon, tap into all this stuff, you know what I mean, get the ebook. It's one thing to engulf information, but it's another thing to actually apply it. That's what separates the guys that actually understand the true power of this practice and the guys that crash out. The ones who overload their brain with information and the ones that actually apply it. When you apply it and you do it properly, guess what? You're not going to be in the state of where, oh man, I got to battle these urges. Oh man, I'm battling lust. Oh man, I'm in World War III. I got my AK-47 trying to shoot all these temptations down. Nah, you're not going to be in that state no more. It's overload. People who overload their information, overload all this content, overload all this books and stuff like that, where they just don't know what to do with it anymore. I try to break it down as simple as possible. There's a lot of stuff that we can talk about. There's a lot of deepness to this practice, but the bits and pieces that you can actually plug into your life, those are the most important. Those are the most important, and you need to get that in your head to, if you really want to understand how to actually use this power to your advantage and not crash out and not burn out and not become a bitch talking about, oh, this is placebo, this guy's just lying, you guys all fell for it, blah, 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 blah. So if you're picking up what I'm putting down, man, I'm really out here in the field, in the flesh, dropping you out that game so you guys can make these games, and I'm out here. Peace.